All right, so we'll be back here. A little bit of a different pod today. I was just obviously doing the usual pod, and accidentally, I usually whenever I switch between topics, I pause the video, and then I will resume it whenever I'm ready to go on to the next topic. And I actually pressed the finish or the end the video button, whatever you want to call it. So I will be doing two parts of this video now. The first part will just be strictly about Jim Harbaugh, so I'll label it Jim Harbaugh Rumors. And then the second part will be starting up now about Baker Mayfield and his situation. So this will probably be about a 20 to 30 minute video. This will probably only be about 20 minutes because there will be no introduction in this video. So probably be about 20 minutes of Baker Mayfield, and then whatever goes on, and then we'll talk about the New York Sports Update and stuff like that. So I apologize about that. So expect two videos coming today. I'll do the part one will be the Jim Harbaugh rumors, and then part two will be the Baker Mayfield situation, which we're gonna get to now. So first one will probably be titled Jim Harbaugh rumors. Part one, and then part two will be Baker Mayfield situation and the New York Sports Update. So, definitely frustrated I did that. It's just not really, it just slows you down. I've done it before. Usually in the past, I used to just restart my video and just talk about everything else over again, but I'm not going to do that right now because I was 40 minutes into that video, so I'm not going to restart all 40 minutes and try to nail everything I said. Just not worth it. So I'm just going to talk about Baker Mayfield now, and I'll figure out a way to upload. I mean, I know how to upload both these videos, but I'll figure out a way to get, the titles and everything out, so they're both out there, and you can watch both of them. So this is part two, I guess you could kind of say, of the video. Part one was I did not mean to do it. I actually pressed the stop video button. So I will be now doing a part two video. So this will probably be about 20 minutes. But anyway, so obviously, like I said, I just got done talking about Jim Harbaugh, and now craziness going on in Cleveland, or craziness, I should say, starting to boil in Cleveland. And I think kind of frustration, kind of just the overall, the overall season. You got eliminated from the playoffs on Monday night. Just not playing your best football. Going into the season with high expectations, and then possibly now you could be a 7-10 team depending on how things go out this weekend. So it's kind of a lot of frustration. But Baker Mayfield trade rumors: Browns quarterback may consider requesting deal without changes. So I just want to tell you this offseason has a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Matter of fact, I don't think it's going to happen. But this offseason has the possibility of being just a incredible quarterback class. I mean, not even just overall performance-wise, just in terms of names being available right now, on the quarterback free agency. So if you look at it, most likely quarterbacks to play on a new team. So these quarterbacks could be on the move in the 2022 offseason. I'm just going to tell you this right now, right? Russell Wilson's a possibility. Baker Mayfield, possibility. Aaron Rodgers, possibility. Kirk Cousins, possibility. So, with everything going on in Cleveland and all that, and then, there's so much uncertainty, too, in Minnesota, because you don't know what's going to go on with Kirk Cousins. You don't know if they're going to fire Mike Zimmer. You don't know, what they're going to do with Kirk Cousins and stuff. Do they decide to move on and just play with Kellen Mond, or what do they do? I mean, Kirk Cousins had a good season. Do the Vikings kind of shift their focus and rebuild? Do they kind of work with what they've got and try to put a couple more pieces in place, and maybe they'll get back to the playoffs? What will they do? It will be interesting to see. They're kind of one of those odd teams that are kind of like, they're not terrible, they're not like completely sunk, but they're like not good enough, like they're not there yet. Do they reset, because obviously what they're doing is not working, or do they completely blow it all up? Do they kind of take a minor reset? Do they go all in? That's an interesting scenario. I think a lot will depend on what happens with Kirk Cousins. We all know the craziness around Aaron Rodgers. I don't think we know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. I think we'll figure it out next season, week 1. He'll be doing something, whether that's hosting Jeopardy or playing for the Packers or in a different team. He'll be doing something week 1 of next year. That's a big question mark. But now you go, Russell Wilson has obviously been the biggest story because, with the bad season this year and now the reports coming out that, maybe the Seattle Seahawks decide to go in a different direction and they start the rebuild, and Russell Wilson obviously won't be a part of that. They'll probably build around somebody else. Does Russell Wilson move on? That's another question. These are all very good offseason questions and all good things to talk about in the offseason. But today what happened was pretty crazy. So Baker Mayfield may consider requesting a trade, and there's a lot of reports that's coming out about him possibly being angry with the way the offense is going, with the way they're calling plays. And look, you know how I feel about Baker Mayfield. I've said it all along, right? I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield supporter by any means. I don't think he's this great quarterback. I don't think he's really lived up to the expectations of being the first overall pick. I really don't. I also don't think he's been awful. I don't think he's been like a Johnny Manziel in a way, another first-round quarterback that the Browns drafted. I don't think he's been anywhere close. He's been He's been all right. Last season, he had a good year, and he didn't have a great season this year. Here's my thing with Baker Mayfield. He's just way too inconsistent, right? He's just way too inconsistent. I mean, he starts off his rookie and his young career, Then he goes into last season as an excellent season, and in this season, he takes a step back. And it's been like inconsistency. It's been like showing moments of greatness, showing moments of why the heck is this guy on the roster? And he showed a lot of those moments this season with the Cleveland Browns. And I get the injured shoulder. I understand all that. But there's still that part of you that's like I understand the injured shoulder and all that, but there's still that part of you that's like why can't he just find sustained success? And I'm not going to sit here and blame it all on Mayfield because I don't think, I've always said this, I think the receiving core they have over there is a little overrated. I've always said Beckham was overrated, which they had him. Obviously, no longer is Beckham with them, but I've always thought Beckham was kind of overrated. I always thought that the Browns in general, a little bit of an overrated roster, and kind of what they were throwing out there for Mayfield wasn't as good as I don't think many people expected, and wasn't as good as advertised. And that's partially because of Baker Mayfield, and that's partially just because of the overall roster construction and everything like that. And like I said, look, I'm not going to blame everything on Mayfield. I mean, you look back on it now, in that 2018 draft class that had, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. You look back on that 2018 draft class and you think it was the later picks. Now, Josh Allen was an incredibly late pick. I believe he was drafted seventh overall, but it was the late picks that have been truly successful. Because Mayfield's been there's still questions surrounding his future with the Browns. Sam Darnold's already on his second team. Josh Allen is great. He's going to, Bills are going to go into the playoffs. Lamar Jackson is definitely good, but, injuries and, Ravens look like they're probably done for the season. So all those things considered, if you look back at the 2018 draft class, it's been pretty disappointing in terms of quarterbacks and all that. The first two quarterbacks off the board, which was the big question going into the draft, was Mayfield going to the Jets or was he going to the Browns? Was Darnold going to the Browns or going to the Jets? And ultimately they decided Mayfield's going to the Jets and Darnold's going to the Browns. And you sit here now and it's like those two guys aren't even the best quarterbacks in that draft class. It's been Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. And what? Josh Rosen too, he stinks. So all those things, considered, Mayfield's been coming out of college, I wasn't big on him. I wasn't very high on him. Here's my thing with Mayfield, right? I've said it since he was coming out of college. If you want to watch some of my old podcasts, you can. Coming out of college, I just think he had a lot of off-the-field stuff going on. He was cocky. I just didn't know how he would do as a NFL quarterback and the NFL media and the NFL market, going to an organization that has been starving for success because they haven't had it in so long. They really have never had success, to be honest with you, and that's the blunt reality of it. The Browns have never really had success. They've been known for their failures, and they really have never had sustained success. They've had a couple good seasons here and there, but they've never had success. And that's the blunt reality of it. So for a young player going to a team like the Browns that has been awful for so long and still seems like they can't completely get it right, and there was a lot of pressure on him. And I was wondering if he was going to be overwhelmed. And throughout his career so far, Mayfield has looked at times overwhelmed. And like I said, I get it. He's injured and all that. I think both parties are to blame. Like Mayfield, you can blame him. You could also blame the Browns. Because guess what? The Browns, I don't think, have done an excellent job surrounding talent around him. They went out and signed Beckham, was terrible for them. Landry has not been the same player. Sure, you have Nick Chubb, yes, but, I mean, other than that, what are you really working with? An injured player that they're relying for him to throw the ball a lot, and he's just not the same player as when he's injured. And he showed so much progress last season. He showed so much promise. And he just hasn't been the same this year. And as an organization, that's always concerning. And I said it, I'll say it with like the Giants and Joe Judge, right? Last season, they won 10 games. Or lost 10 games, they won 6. They were competitive though, right? But they still lost 10 games. This season, they're awful. That's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to get better. And that's, I feel like, what's happening with Baker Mayfield. Like, he's been like this. And then last season, he was like this. And now he's like this. It's like, what's happening? And is he really, truly the answer? And right now, to give you my gut feeling, I don't know. Like, that might sound kind of, that might just sound like, oh, that's just a bland answer, but it's the truth. I don't know. Like, I think there is some frustration with Mayfield. I genuinely think he is frustrated. And I also think there's some frustration within the organization. Like, can we just get this quarterback right already? Like, can he just, like, can Mayfield just play consistently at a high level? And can they win football games? Because there's been times this season where Mayfield's played okay, and they've lost. And there's also been times, I recall the Green Bay game, where he played really bad. And there was also times like on Monday night where he got sacked 9 times. When you get sacked 9 times as a quarterback, there's not much you can do. But I think it's accumulation of things. I think it's an organization that's been starving for success for so long and has never won a Super Bowl. And also an organization that has more 0-win seasons than they do Super Bowls. And also an organization that feels like they have the talent, but just not getting there. And this is where the Browns need to make a big decision this offseason. If they ultimately believe Baker Mayfield's their guy, then okay, fine, he's your guy. Go on with it. But if you truly, if you believe he's your guy, great, go on with it. He's your guy. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if he's the guy in Cleveland. Because at times he's shown it, and at times he's not. And his attitude's out there. He is. It is out there. He is definitely cocky for a player who hasn't really done what everyone expected him to do. And that was go out, win a lot of games, and be a top-tier quarterback in the NFL. He hasn't done that yet. And that puts the Browns in a complicated situation. Because there's been times where it's been on Mayfield, and there was times like Monday night where it was on the offensive line, it was on the surrounding assets around him. Getting sacked 9 times is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I don't care if you're facing TJ Watt or if you're facing a third string that was a third string on Division III. I don't care who you're playing. You got to be better than allowing 9 sacks. But it's also, like I said 5 times already, Mayfield hasn't been the same player. He just hasn't been. I also think that's part of the reason on the Browns. Because they showed so much promise last year. And this season hasn't. I mean, if you look at the rookies in the 2018 draft class, you talk about the situations they were thrust into. I mean, you look at what Mayfield was thrust into, right? Just a bad organization. You look at what Darnold was thrust into. A bad organization. And I get it. That's expected. But organizations just can't get it right. Jets, finally, you seem like you see some potential. But Browns, who knows? and with Kevin Stefanski, stuff like that. And if Mayfield is truly complaining about play calling, well, now Stefanski and the coaching staff's got to look at themselves in the mirror and like, are we really calling the right plays to get the most out of our quarterback? There's a lot of going on in Cleveland, and there's a lot that needs to be sorted out this offseason, a lot of questions that need to be sorted out. So Baker Mayfield trade rumors, Browns quarterback may consider requesting deal without changes. Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield is reportedly unhappy with the team's play calling and could seek a new home in the offseason. If Mayfield doesn't get reinsurance that things will change next season, he'll consider asking to be traded. Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com reported. According to Cabot, Mayfield felt head coach Kevin Stefanski's play calling didn't always put him in position to succeed or play to his strengths. Mayfield seemingly denied the report on Twitter. Like I said, this was a report. Mayfield denied it. So we'll see. And if Mayfield is denying it, he said, clickbait, you and many other Cleveland local media continue to be drama-stirring reporters with no sources or facts. Don't put words in my mouth so you can put food on your table. I'm not your puppet. That's what Mayfield said. He's obviously clearly frustrated. Like I said, I think that's accumulation of just being frustrated about the season and getting reporters telling things that might not be true. And if that isn't true, well, then Mayfield does seem like maybe he wants to be here. There's so much going on. The 26-year-old is set to make $18.9 million in 2022 in the final year of his rookie deal. Mayfield has been ruled out of Sunday's season finale against the Cincinnati Bengals while he prepares to undergo left shoulder surgery. It completes a disappointing season as the Browns fell short of the playoffs despite high expectations. The quarterback struggled, finishing with 3,010 yards, 10 passing yards, and 17 touchdowns with 13 interceptions in 14 games. His 35.3 total QBR ranked 26th of 31 qualified players. Last year, Mayfield finished 10th in total QBR at 65.5. Like I said, that's a concerning drop. It really is. His past success could convince opposing teams to take a chance on the 2018 number 1 overall pick. A new system could allow him to reach expectations and rebound after a tough year. With just 1 year on his contract, a quarterback-needy team would also have limited risk. Cleveland, meanwhile, could start fresh at the position and hope a new quarterback can get the squad back to the playoffs. So, questions surrounding the Browns, questions surrounding Mayfield. You got to hope that you get answers in the offseason. I'm going to guess the answer would be he either stays or he doesn't. But we'll have to see how this thing goes out, because it's already getting a little ugly fast. Especially when you have the media reports, and that's when guys just overall get frustrated, and that's never a good thing. Alrighty, so let's get to the New York sports update here to finish off the podcast. Alrighty, so tonight we got the Celtics and the Knicks. I'll give the Celtics to win. Grizzlies, Pistons, I'll give Grizzlies to win. Warriors, Pelicans, give Warriors to win. And Suns, Clippers, give Suns to win. As for the NHL, got a lot of games on tonight. Got Devils, Blue Jackets, I'll give Devils to win. Lightning, Flames, give Lightning to win. Penguins, Flyers, give Penguins to win. Sharks, Sabres, give Sharks to win. Bruins, Wild, give Bruins to win. Panthers, Stars, give Panthers to win. Blackhawks, Coyotes, give Blackhawks to win. Avalanche, Jets, give Avalanche to win. Ducks, Red Wings, give Ducks to win. Kings, Predators, give Kings to win. Some college basketball games on tonight. We got Indiana, Ohio State. I'll give Indiana to win. UCLA, Long Beach State, give UCLA the win. Wisconsin, Iowa, I'll give Wisconsin the win. And USC, California, give USC the win. That's what's going on in the world of sports, and we'll get to fantasy basketball, and we'll wrap up the podcast. Alright, so right now I'm currently winning in fantasy basketball 728 to 594. Today I've got going John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Brandon Ingram. Injury updates are as followed. Bane is day to day. Bane is doubtful for Thursday's game against the Pistons with left quadriceps soreness. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's what I got for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm frustrated that I did that. I've done it once before, like I said, and I restarted the entire video. I just don't feel like doing that. Like, there are videos where I feel, I've actually gotten this question asked sometimes. Like, there are videos where I feel I hit my points well and I get what I want to get across and I make it clear. And there's videos where I look back on and I'm like, I didn't get exactly what I wanted across, or I didn't make it sound clear, which is the truth. And I felt that way on the Baker Mayfield situation. Like, there's some things that I wanted to get across. I just don't know if I made it clear to you guys. Like I said, getting pausing the video and having to record another one really stinks. And now I got to upload 2 videos, which is going to be confusing because I don't know how to title them. Because I'm not just going to title one Jim Harbaugh rumors. But either way, both these videos will be up somehow, some way. I'm either going to look to merge them or just upload part 1 and part 2, which I'll probably just upload part 1 and part 2. But there are days where I feel as if I hit my points and get what I want to get across, and there's days where I feel I don't. And today was a day where I felt like what I wanted to get across in the Jim Harbaugh was what I wanted to get across. Like, what I got across was what I get across. Timing was good. Left me about 20 minutes to talk about Mayfield. Harbaugh, his stats. I wrote all these down. Was able to get that point across. So I didn't feel like redoing it all because I'm like, I thought I did what I needed to do. I thought I said what I needed to say about Harbaugh. And I didn't want to restart and almost just not make sense then because I'm trying to remember everything I said. So, apologize for that. So there'll be 2 videos out, 2 shorter videos. So if that makes it better, I guess, because I'll have about a 40-minute video and a 20-minute video. So, if that, I guess that's not that bad. It's just going to take more time to get both videos up because both videos will probably take about 15 minutes. So, I'll try to get both of them up as quickly as I can. Not like part 1 up, then an hour later get part 2 up. I'll try my best to get both of them up within 10 minutes of each other. Or within 5 minutes, preferably if I can get them up. Preferably if I could try to get them up 5 minutes within each other. Would be okay. I'll try to do that. It's also internet, not even just internet, just computers, technology just got to be on my side. So, we'll see how things go. But, yeah, that'll do it. So, like I said, if you're watching this video first, this is not the only video. There is another one. That will technically be considered part 1. So, I'll upload part 1 first, and this will be part 2. I haven't done this in a while. When I first started doing podcasts, I used to do part 1 and part 2. I used to do a video. I used to do a part 1 video, and I used to do part 1 would be like 30 minutes, and I used to do part 2 as well. And that's when I used to do an hour show, and it got too long for me. So I started to only do about 30 minutes. And then I began now, as I've gotten, more into it and done more and more, I talk a lot more. And I know a lot more now than I used to. So there's a lot more things I want to say. So now it's an hour, and I do them 1 hour. Like when I used to do an old camera thing, it would only allow me to record for 30 minutes. It would have a time limit. Once 30 minutes went up, it would get cut off. So I'd have to record for like 30 minutes and cut it off right away. It couldn't go over, because if it went over 30 minutes, it'd be too long. So now I just do my regular, camera, and it could film for hours, and I'm sure after a while it'll probably either cut off or whatever. But yeah, so that's probably the last time I've done a part 1 and part 2, which I don't like it because it's too unorganized. Like, looking through, trying to figure out the video, or like, don't like it. So today will be the only day. Watch out for a part 1, part 2. If you're watching this and you want to find out part 2 or part 1, it should be up by the time you're watching this. So I'll upload part 1 first, which will be my introduction and Jim Harbaugh rumors. Part 2 will be Baker Mayfield and the New York Sports Update. So luckily, I cut the video off. Actually, I didn't mean to, but luckily the time I did it was already halfway through. So it's not like I did my introduction, which is like 5 minutes, and then the rest of my video. Or take that back. I'd actually rather accidentally shut off my video in the introduction, because that means I just restart instead of being 40 minutes into it and accidentally ending the video with topics still to go. So either way, that'll do it. So part 1, part 2 will be up. I'll try to get it up as closely as possible, so you're not watching part 2 and an hour later part 1 comes up, or part 1 and an hour 2 part 2 comes up. I'll try to get them up as quickly as possible. But yeah, that'll do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. As always, I will see you all back here tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the Football Friday. Will be the final Football Friday podcast with the Jets and the Giants involved, as the Jets and Giants will wrap up their respective seasons this weekend. Giants home against Washington, Jets on the road up in Buffalo. So tomorrow we'll do all that. Give you my final game pick for the Jets and the Giants this year, or this season rather. This year just started. So Jets and Giants, you got to hope for, especially as a Jet fan, you got to hope for a more successful 2022 season. I guess you could say 2022 hasn't started off that bad, because the Jets almost beat the Bucs. Not a bad start. So, either way, that'll do it. So, see you all back here tomorrow. It will be a Football Friday podcast, and hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.